good morning. There we go. Good morning. Happy last Monday of July. I don't know about you, but if you are watching this in the DFW area, probably most of the areas around the United States, it's going to be over 100 degrees. Well expected. In case you guys don't know, I used to be a football coach for many years in private varsity schools. And it was always 100 plus degrees here in the DFW area right around this time. So if you're complaining about it, you probably haven't lived here long enough. So thank you so much for jumping on. This is my Monday Live. By the way, my name is Kevin Harris. If this is the first time you're watching this channel, if you happen to be on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell button so that you get notified when we drop any content, including this live. This is a very informal live that I do. I've been doing it now for over 4 years, and I'm super excited to be doing it today because we have a lot of information, a lot of really cool things to talk about. Last week of July, this is kind of our, we're beginning to hit the peak of the normal business cycle in real estate. And so I want to make sure that everybody is locked in and making sure that they're making their moves and making their mark before the season starts to drift. And then we won't have any business simply because we haven't taken advantage of the business that we currently have. So a couple things before we get started, a couple house cleaning things. Number one, if you are in the DFW area, that's Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, we are officially launching the Hero Edge DFW chapter starting in August. I've had a community of over 2,000 agents for now going on 4.5 years in a private Facebook group. By the way, if you're watching on a private Facebook group, make sure you comment and make sure you comment on YouTube. But we are officially launching the chapter. Why are we doing this? Because we're launching chapters of the Hero Edge across the nation, and we've launched one that's officially live in East Texas called the Piney Woods, so the Hero Edge Piney Woods. The founding member is Jeff and Lisa Stallnaker with Cardinal Home Inspections. We actually have a class going on, a CE class going on this Wednesday, the 29th, from I think 11 to 2 with lunch included. The CE is actually being provided at no cost to the agents by Cardinal Home Inspections. We're going to have great vendors there. It's going to be a great time. So if you happen to be in the Tyler, Lindale, Longview area of Texas, anywhere of the surrounding areas, or you just want to be there, make sure I'll put the link in the bio on both Facebook and YouTube, and we'll make sure that you get there on Wednesday at 11 o'clock. Number two, we are dropping something pretty big on August 1st. If you've been in my community for longer than a year, you know that I've been working on something, and I keep thinking that it's going to come out. Well, officially August 1st, it launches. Not going to talk about it right now, but I'll talk about it at the end. So make sure you stay to the end because it's going to be exciting for not just me, but for the community and hopefully for your legacy. So I did want to tell everybody that if you're watching this for the first time, or maybe you've disengaged and you're engaging again, I've got a goal. I've got a goal that I want to help 1,000 agents, real estate agents, over the next 24 months, get out of what I call the APV, the agent poverty vortex, by becoming consistent in their business and by making a career and a business out of real estate. I've seen several agents do it, but I've seen hundreds, if not thousands of agents not do it. And a lot of it has to do with not having a lot of business background, or maybe not having a lot of sales background, but all those are skills that we can build. The reality is that the number one reason agents do not have the business they want is the fact that they are not consistent in their business with a few things that would allow them to help and serve clients at a high level, thereby making their dreams come true. And here's what I know after coaching 5 years in the vendor world as well as in the agent world, is that you have a lot of vendor partners who want you to succeed. Matter of fact, I would say they are probably the next ones next to you and your family who do want you to succeed, because they succeed when you succeed. So I am recruiting them through these communities to come alongside, because they build businesses. They have to. Agents are the tip of the spear, and the vendors are the one who kind of make things happen around the real estate transaction. So I'm recruiting them into helping you and coming alongside you as a team member to actually help you build your business. So my goal is 1,000 agents in the next 24 months. Hopefully that'll be you if you're watching this. And if you want, and again, it's going to happen inside the communities and inside some other really cool things that we're doing here in the DFW area. So make sure you connect with me either through the Marketing Edge Facebook group, or you come to one of the classes, or you just reach out on the DMs or the comments and say, I want in, and I promise you, I will get you the information. All right. So let's get to the material. So let me ask you a question. If a buyer or seller in your market needed to buy or sell their house, how many agents would they think of before they thought of you? Be honest. Think about that for a second. In the DFW Metroplex alone, there's thousands of transactions that happen every single month. I know in Houston, same. Tennessee, same. Vegas, same. Anywhere from 4 to 12. Most major markets, we're doing thousands of transactions across the United States. And how many buyers and sellers, because we don't get to decide whether they want to buy or sell. We don't convince them. That's not our job. Our job is to come alongside them once they start making those decisions. But how many would they think of before they thought of you? Because here's the uncomfortable reality of our business. There's over 3 million real estate agents. Say that again, 3 million real estate agents in the United States right now. Give or take the market, give or take 100,000 one way or another, 3 million. And most of them are doing the exact same thing. They're putting up a standard Zillow profile. They're doing an average open house. They're doing the 3 P's of real estate. They pray, they put on the MLS, and they put a sign in the yard when they're selling a property. They're doing the same things. They're in the crowd. Most major brokerages in the United States, the big ones and the small ones, kind of teach the same things, which there's nothing wrong with the fundamentals. There's nothing wrong with once you get started to start with the fundamentals. But in the current market that we're in, if you are doing the same things as the other agents and expecting a different result, you're just being in the crowd. You're just in the crowd. 95% of the people in the United States have a W-2 lifestyle. Most of us agents came from that W-2 lifestyle. I'm not saying it's bad. It's awesome for a lot of people. But we all crazy cats decided to start a business as real estate agents. And when we did, we decided to step out of that 95% and step into the 5% of uncomfortable business, entrepreneurial, sales, marketing, wearing all the hats to start the hero story of our business, our legend, our legacy, our dreams, our whys. And when we did that, consciously or unconsciously, we made a decision to step out of the crowd. But if we're not careful, a lot of us, well, once we get into a brokerage, once we get our license, and it's different in every state, but once you get your license and you hook yourself next to a brokerage, one of the things the brokerage wants to do is they want to create a community, which is awesome. But if that community is centered around going to meetings and going to happy hours and listening to a vendor call or watching a video or sitting in a training session, those are all good things. But a lot of times what happens is we wind up going back into our mindset of a W-2 lifestyle, which is if we sit through these things in 2 weeks, we're going to get paid for sitting in these things. But the scary and the usually unconscious thing that we don't think about is that we don't get paid to sit in the meetings. We don't get paid to go to lunch. We don't get paid to go to happy hours unless there is a client or someone who knows a client, like a networking, for us to help, because we own our business. Okay. So I want you to think about that. We cannot be in the crowd. We have to stand out of the crowd in the market that we're in to be the hero in our own story and to build whatever it is we're trying to build. No matter if you're talking about 8 transactions, 24 transactions, or 80 transactions a year, we have to stand out in the crowd enough to be able to generate business on a regular basis. So how do we do that? The reality is the only way we do that is to start making moves by making our mark. Okay, so what do I mean by making your move? Making your move is nothing more than deciding what you want your business to look like, and more importantly, what you want your life to look like. Laurel Ehrlich says, Well-behaved people seldom make history. Well-behaved people seldom make history. I would also say well-behaved people seldom become business success, because we have to get outside of our comfort zone. We have to get outside of what we naturally want to do. We have to get outside of all the things that we've put into our life for the past 20, 30, 40, 50 years to make ourselves comfortable, because we've all decided to be uncomfortable and build a business. So how do we do that? I got four steps. Four steps. I got 4 steps. So if you want, write this down. If you're in the Edge Collective, which is our private group, we'll have show notes and we'll have the transcript and we'll have some action steps, but you can write it down if you're watching this on YouTube or if you're in the Marketing Edge. You can't stand out if you don't know what you stand for. Number one, you can't stand out if you don't know what you stand for. What does that mean? Most agents skip this. Most agents skip actually understanding what they stand for. So I'm going to give you 3 clarifying questions for you to actually figure out what you stand for. You know, it's not a new headshot. It's not your logo. It's not your tagline. It's not any of that. Okay. All those things are important. Okay. Business is about a lot of things, but to stand out of the crowd, you have to be able to say in a very succinct and exact way what makes you different. So question number 1 is this. And these questions, if you can answer them in 1 sentence, each one, then you've nailed it. And if not, that's your homework for today. Number 1, what do you do better than 95% of the agents in your market? If you're an inspector, if you're a lender, if you're in title, or if you're just a business owner, happen to come across this video, what do you do better than 95% of other people that do what you do in this market? And it's not, I care more. Okay. That's not it. It's got to be very specific. What do you do different than 95%? It could be something as simple as I'm a better negotiator than 95% of the people in this market. I'm better at social media than 95% of the people in this market. I'm better at identifying the problem of my clients than 95% of the people in this market. I don't know what it is, but if you don't know what it is, I can guarantee you your clients won't know what it is, or potential clients, because they probably won't be your clients. Number 2, who is the one person that you were built to serve? Who's the client that you want to go after? Now, I say this in a lot of my marketing classes and a lot of my trainings that I do. You're going to serve a lot of different people. You're not, even though you may target one specific person, you're still going to bring in a whole bunch of people who just resonate with who you are. But if they don't know who you are, they're not resonating with you. And you've got, the only way to get good at bringing in leads is to identify the one person you were built to serve. Is it first-time homebuyers? Is it military? Is it downsizers? Is it luxury? Is it commercial? Is it people that are relocating? Is it networking? Where do you want that lead, that person? And a lead is nothing more than a person. Think about that. We think about leads in this generic, like digital thing. But the reality is, for us, a lead is a person. So who's the person that you're trying and that you were built to serve? Write it down. It may be in a neighborhood. It may be a certain area of town. It may be a socioeconomic. It doesn't matter, but you need to identify who you're talking to. Okay. Number 3, what do you want your clients to say about you when you're not in the room? That's a big one. What do you want your clients to say about you when you're not in the room? Do you want them to say that you're funny, trustworthy, exact, consistent? I don't know. But again, if you don't know, your messaging definitely will not know. You need to be able to write all of these 3 clarifying questions in 1 sentence. In 1 sentence. If you can do it in 1 sentence, I promise you this. You're going to start to be able to craft the conversation that you have. And I'm not talking about just on social. I'm talking about crafting the conversation and who are you trying to serve. Here's a perfect example. In my coaching space, okay, I've coached $0 to $100 million producing teams. I've coached teams of 15. I've coached brokers. I've coached CEOs of businesses. And I feel confident that I can help most people getting to the next step if they're willing to listen and if they're willing to take accountability for their actions. I'm fairly confident that I can identify one or two things that gets them to the next step. And it doesn't really matter where their volume is. Saying that, I want to reach the agents who are struggling to even make this a business. That's not everybody. Now, it's the majority of agents, but I want to reach the agents who are struggling every single month, week, day, maybe even years to get consistency in their business, to actually be able to make a living, make a good living, helping people buy and sell and invest in real estate. So that's my target audience. That's the audience that I talk to. I can help the $100 million producing team, but they're not struggling with leads. They're not struggling with business. They're struggling with something different. And I could definitely help them with that. But the reality is the majority of our population struggles with just even making this a consistent business. So that's my avatar. That's the person I am here to serve. Who's yours? You identify it, okay? And if you haven't identified it and you can't do it, make sure that this is what you do over the next couple days, okay? It may take you a little bit of time. It may take a glass of wine at evening at night, that kind of thing. Number two, okay, so step one was to define your mark. So that's your mark. Once you figure it out, that's your mark. That is who you're talking to. Number two is to make your move, okay? Average agents wait. This is something I say. Average agents wait. Heroes act. Most of you guys know my coaching company is called the Hero Edge. That's what the brand is right there. I think it's right there. It's an acronym, THE, the Hero Edge. That's why they call me the Kevin Harris. And I say that to say, heroes don't wait for things to happen. They don't see something and not act. They act. So if you want to be the hero in your own story, you have to be the one who breaks out and makes moves. You have to break out and start making moves. You can't keep talking about doing it. You can't keep getting ready to get ready. You have to start making moves today, not tomorrow, not next week, not once you have the plan in place, not once you have the website done, not once you have the listing presentation complete, not once you have your postcard. What can you do today to actually start making moves? I'm going to give you three things that you can start doing today. Show up where your clients already are. Show up where your clients already are. So how can you do that? Well, where are people who have tried to sell their home but have failed for whatever reason? What is that called? Right? It's called expireds. Well, where can you find the people who have tried to sell their home and have not been able to? You can find them through a company called Vortex or Mojo or RedX or Vulcan. Name one. You can find them on the internet too. You can find them on MLS. And then you can go door knock. You can go start talking to those people if those are the people that you're built to serve. How about people who have thought that they could sell their house on their own but have not been able to? What is that called? For sale by owners, right? Well, where can we find those? We can find them at the same place I just mentioned, or you can actually find those on Zillow. You can go to Zillow and you can refine the search and get to the numbers, and you can actually have a conversation with people who have made a decision at some point to sell their house without representation, and then ask them why and ask them how you can help them. Yes, there's a whole system around it, but if that's who you're meant to serve, those are great people to talk to in the real estate industry. But it can also be, where are first-time home buyers right now? Where are the people who want to buy a home but don't have a home to buy? Where are they? Well, I can think of a couple spots. One of them is they live in apartments probably, or they're just graduating college, or maybe they just took a job, their very first job. Where can you find them and where do they congregate so that you can go meet them? If you did this exercise for no matter who you were talking about, where do military people hang out? Where are they? The ex-military people who have transferred to DF in your area, or maybe they're retired. Where do they hang out? Have you built a system around having conversations on a regular basis with the person that you're meant to serve? So go find where they are, number one. Number two, create content that sounds like you. You know, AI is an awesome, awesome thing. I love AI. I use it every single day, multiple times a day, and I use multiple types of artificial intelligence depending on what I'm trying to do. But the one thing I will tell you is if you do not train your AI as an assistant, as a marketing team that knows who you are, knows your brand, who you're wanting to talk to, and how you're wanting to talk to them, if you do not do that work, you're just doing AI copy paste, and that's not going to work. You're not going to stand out because, frankly, that's what the 95% do. Most 95% of the people on the planet that say they use AI, they use it to write emails and to write text and maybe to look at funny memes or some funny pictures. Nothing wrong with that. But if you want to stand out, you got to get better at creating the content that actually sounds like you, that's authentic. Okay. And the way you do that is through making sure that it's your voice and you know who you're talking to. When I'm talking to a first-time home buyer for the very first time in a listing present or in a buyer consultation, that's a different conversation than someone who's bought 5 homes and is downsizing. So what are the differences in those conversations? And if you're trying to serve first-time home buyers, make sure you're talking to those people with your own voice. The way I talk to buyers and sellers is going to be different than the way you talk to them because you're different. That's what "the" means. Okay, you are the person, the only person who has ever been made like you, who's ever had a voice like you. You may sound like your parents or somebody that you were raised by, but I guarantee you have your own thoughts and you have your own signs of logic and how you talk, and why you talk, and what you say, and why you say. So becoming authentic in that is what starts to separate you so that you can make your moves. Number 3. So number 1, show up where the clients are. Number 2, create content that sounds like you. Number 3, reach out. Here's the action step. Reach out to 5 people today, not tomorrow. Matter of fact, tomorrow too. Reach out to 5 people in your database and just, not a mass email, not a text, pick up the phone. If you have to text them and say, hey, do you mind if I call you? Because if they're Gen Z, they probably won't pick up the phone if you call them without texting them first. But if you pick up the phone and call them and just check in and just say, hey, I've been thinking about you. It's coming into summer. I'd love to be able to reconnect. How's the kids? What are the kids doing? Have you made any vacation plans, or have you done anything this summer cool? This is what I've done. Just make a connection. 5, not 2, not 3, 5. Okay. So taking action on what we're talking about today. Remember, making your move means making a move, not just thinking about making the move. Getting ready to get ready is what they say. Okay. Number 3, show them why. Show them why. Agents who win don't just tell clients about what they do. They show them why it matters. This is one of the best sales techniques I've ever learned. As I was moving up through sales and I was moving up through being an agent, being a successful agent, you can tell someone that you're the top agent in DFW or in your market, the top agent in St. Louis. I sell more homes. I sell a home a day. I have more listings than anybody else. I've had 13 years experience. I'm a great marketer. Whatever it is that you may throw out that you're thinking about, you're trying to differentiate yourself with. If you don't say this next part, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, buyers and sellers don't care who you are, and they don't care. They really, most of them don't even want to hire you at the end of the day. They would rather be able to do this, but they know they can't. So they're trying to pick the one that best fits what they're trying to accomplish. So if you end that statement, I sell more houses in my market than anyone else, and this is why it matters to you. I set the market in my neighborhood on listings 80% of the time on price per square foot. And this is why it matters to you. And then be able to tell them why it matters to them. That is the secret sauce that gets the conversion rate to go from 1 out of 10, 1 out of 5 to 9 out of 10 is being able to communicate why it matters to your client. I'll give you a little hack as we start to land this plane. The other hack you can give is understanding that when someone sits in front of you, whether it's a buyer, seller, investor, you need to, in your mind, assume they are already your clients and you're talking to them just like they're your client, not that you're interviewing. Because if you're interviewing, you get desperate. And when you're desperate, it's called commission breath in our industry, and it is easy to smell. So if you walk in already knowing that they're your client until they tell you they're not, and approach it from that standpoint, one, it calms nerves, it gets you ready, and allows you to have really good conversation by telling them why this is important and why they should hire you, not because you're the best at what, or anything like that. It's because why does it make that difference to them? Okay. So number 3, show them why. Number 4, build it to last. What do I mean by that? You can't do this one time. You can't do this. You can't do this by doing this one time, having a great month, and then going, I made it, I figured it out, but then not consistently doing it. You have to build a 12-month system around having this communication around these 4 steps. You have to build a 12-month, like, continuous, I'm going to talk to the same people every single week, every single month. I'm going to engage these people every single week, every single month. That is how you build a long-term sustainable business. It's not a one-shot wonder. You know, George Strait, my wife's favorite artist, is not the king of country because he has a great number 1. He's the king of country because he has 48 or 50. And I'm put it in the comment section of how many he's got. I can't remember. My wife's probably going to kill me when she sees this, but he's got a lot. He's got a lot of consistent art that he has put out into the ether. Okay. You cannot be the hero in your own story if you do it just one time. There's a guy, I'm a football coach at heart. Nick Saban is arguably the best college football coach. And I don't like him that much because he was from Alabama. But the one thing I will say, being a coach, is he wasn't the best coach because he won a championship. He really probably wasn't even the best coach because he won championships. He was the best coach, arguably, because he won consistently and always put himself in a position to win that championship. Sometimes did, sometimes didn't, almost every year that he coached. So he had a system that he put these kids through, and how he recruited and how he trained and how he did his things, so that every single year he was always top tier, not just the one and done kind of coach. Okay. So if you want to build a consistent business, you got to build that system that allows you to be consistent over time and be able to measure it and hold it accountable. That's why we built the Hero Edge and the Edge Collective, powered by the Beacon, which is our marketing machine that we have on the back end, because we want to help agents become consistent with what they do. No matter what that is they decide to do, there's 100 different ways to get leads. There's 100 different ways to help people. Everybody in the world and in the United States is a different person when they decide to buy or sell a house. But you got to get consistent with it. And that's the word that most agents struggle with. We're not consistent. You know, HERO is an acronym for health, energy, relationship, and opportunities. We're not consistent in our health. We're not consistent in how we control our energy. We're not even consistent in our relationships. And so we're sure not consistent in our things that we do, our opportunities that fund the other 3 things. So starting to make yourself accountable to being consistent. These are not big moves. These are small moves. Talk to 5 people a day, 5 days a week, for a month, and tell me you didn't get leads. I make that challenge to you right now. I'll give you a free 1-hour coaching call if you can prove to me that you talk to 5 people a day for 5 days a week for 4 weeks and you did not get a lead. I mean, the reality is that's next to impossible. Okay, especially if you're talking to people in the area that you're trying to get leads from. Okay, and you're the people that you're trying to serve. So show up consistently, track what works, invest in what you want to do and protect your energy. Guys, there's an investment in every business on the planet. It's either time or money or a combination of the two. If you're a brand new agent and you're struggling in this business, you probably don't have a lot of money, so you're going to have to invest a lot of time. But as you start to build your business, take some of those proceeds, put them back into your business, buy back your time by investing some of your money. We have a very, very low cost entry into our Edge Collective, which is our private Facebook, our private group with a CRM, but it's really more of a CRM. It's not as much a CRM as it is a marketing platform that we coach on every single week, that we're expanding into all the markets and all the communities that we're building. And it's a very, very low cost. It's a fraction of what you would normally have to spend for the type of product that you're getting. I didn't build that because I want to be in the CRM system of business. I don't want to compete with all the big CRM. What I want to do is help agents become consistent. And the way I can do that is by talking the same language inside of our communities on the platform that will actually get you there. So if you're interested in that, I promise you, I'll put the link in the bio or in the comment section, and you can schedule a call. You can jump on one of our Zoom calls and we'll get you started. The reality is, no matter what you decide to do, consistency, understanding who you're talking to, making sure that you're making moves every single day, week, month, and making sure that you have a business and a system around it are the ways that you're going to become the hero in your own story, at least in your business. My promise to you is this, is that if you consistently show up in our group, show up in our marketing edge, show up in the Edge Collective, show up on these calls, you're going to learn something that hopefully if you take action on will take you to the next step. So I'm landing the planes by saying August 1st, we are releasing finally, if you've been with my community long enough, you know I've been talking about this for a couple of years, my first book called The Power of Thee, okay, which is the Hero Edge, the power of the Hero Edge, and how do we actually take that into our life, not just in our business, but in our life, and actually make a life where we want to live, that we actually design and not default our life, and that we become the hero in our own story. Because if you close your eyes at night and you start dreaming about what you want and the things that you wish you could be doing, you can, but you got to go design it and then you got to act on it. So guys, thank you so much. If you watch this on YouTube, again, make sure that you like, follow, and hit the bell button. And if you watched it on Facebook, make sure that you go over to YouTube. We're trying to build that channel out. The algorithm doesn't like live videos that much. That's okay. We're going to start putting more content in there. But I love doing the lives on YouTube because it reaches more people. And if you have any questions, there'll be a link in our bio or in the comment or in the DMs, wherever it's at, for you to connect with me, connect with the community, and become the hero in your own story. Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a great end of the July. This is the last week. It's going to be a hot one, but it's going to be a hot one if you choose it to be. Be blessed. Peace and love.